Yo, what's going on, guys? We are back for another Chainsaw Man chapter, and this one is pretty nice. We actually get a sort of slower paced, more relaxed chapter that sort of just gives us more exposition and builds up a lot more stuff for like the next arc that we're going to go into. So we basically start off with Denji in front of his school, and he's very sad. This chapter is called Normal Life, so obviously Denji's living his normal life, and he does not like it at all. He's like very depressed. He's looking down the entire time. His mouth is like, ugh. You can definitely tell that this is affecting him in like one way or another, and very emotionally. He's down in the dumps. You know, he wants to be the Chainsaw Man, but he just can't. So he walks up to his shoe locker, he's putting his stuff in, and some dude walks up behind him. This dude's got I don't know what's wrong with this guy. He's got a whack ass haircut and he's sort of ugly. But he's talking about, hey, is that a Chainsaw Man shirt? And Denji's like, who the fuck are you, man? Who the fuck are you? Leave me alone, man. And this dude, he starts saying like, you should know that like among the well-informed, like there's a theory that Chainsaw Man's trying to steal all of Asa Mitaka's glory. And actually, she's a student in our school, so you should really sort of back her up. Like, Denji's like, what are you talking about? And this dude just like, he's going on about this stuff. Like, he's like, well, assuming that's true, do you still plan on wearing the Chainsaw Man clothes? Because, that means you'd be supporting a victimizer. And this just reminds me of like Twitter, like Twitter or like Reddit or like just anywhere where people just criticize other people for like no reason. It's like people do this all the time. They're like, you know, you're doing something wrong because like you're wearing like a Bud Light shirt because, you know, all that Bud Light controversy, or they're drinking a Bud Light. And it's like, I'm not like supporting like whatever you're talking about, bro. I'm just trying to drink a Bud Light. Like, you know, there's people like that definitely where they don't care about supporting or like trying to show like they care about something, because they don't, and they just like whatever product they're doing. And like obviously Denji's wearing the Chainsaw Man shirt because he's Chainsaw Man. He's literally wearing his own merch. I mean, he's literally shameless in it. We've seen him wear that shirt like 2 or 3 times now. Does he wash that? Or like, does he have like multiple shirts? Because knowing Denji, he does not wash it. He only's got one shirt, but it's a white shirt too. So I feel like he might have a few, because, you know, he's got to support the Chainsaw Man, like people that are making all the merch for him. So this other dude pops up, like here's this conversation. He's like, yo, you two, are you bad mouthing Chainsaw Man? And then the dude that was yelling, he goes like, in the name of Chainsaw Man, I will punish you. And he punches Denji in the mouth. Like, like, why does he have to punch Denji? Like, he was literally about to get in a fight with like the other dude with the bad haircut. Like, but either way, Denji, he beats that dude's ass. But we cut to like the principal's office where he's getting like yelled at because he did beat that guy's ass. Like, that's just too funny because Denji's not a bitch, bro. Like, first of all, he's just not gonna take that laying down. Like, a random dude punching him, nah. A random girl, he wouldn't care. But it's a random dude. He's like, I have no time for you. He's pissed off anyway, so he beat the dude up. But his teacher's like, you know, you're very lucky I'm not like, you know, doing anything worse. Because, you know, kids with no parents are usually the ones that start the fights. And of course, this dude's just talking about stereotypes. And obviously, Chainsaw Man was like based in the past. And obviously, like nowadays, there's still like stereotypes about stuff like that. But it's even more so in that time because like they just like didn't really know any better. And like obviously in Japan, it's like even worse because they sort of like they judge and scrutinize like each other for like the littlest things. And they're very strict about like, almost everything. So like, you know, no more fighting. Next time you'll get a red card. And I mean, I don't know what that means. I guess like maybe he's gonna get suspended or something more like heavy, but Denji doesn't care really. Like he's just sitting there. He's like, okay, bro, bye. Like he just leaves, and then Yoshida pulls up. Right after he closes the door, Yoshida's like, I heard you put him in the hospital, bro. And Denji's like, what, bro? He only lost a tooth, like one tooth, man. But Yoshida, he's like, you know, I guess like even ordinary high schoolers get into fights. You know, not that I'd really know either. And bro, of course, Yoshida, this man, he probably has a few years of experience in devil hunting or whatever he's doing, because this dude definitely did not live a normal life like up till now. It seems like it's either like he was raised to be a devil hunter, something like that, or maybe he's like Kishibe's son, because you cannot tell me they do not look somewhat similar. Like back in the day, Kishibe had the black hair. He looked a lot like Yoshida. So that could be something. I don't know, because he's definitely not normal. And he's saying it right now. Like, I don't really know much about normal people. But near the end of the chapter, it's really interesting because he says like to Denji, like, yes, this is absolutely normal. And it's really interesting because if he's saying he doesn't know what normal is, or at least being a normal high schooler is, like, why is he egging Denji on and telling Denji, this is what normal life is like. You need to do normal stuff. When he doesn't even know like what a normal life is himself. And it just goes back to like the whole thing where he's being told by these, like, I guess the Devil Hunters Association, or maybe a different alternate, like a group of people that are even higher up. But he's being told by people to make sure Denji does not turn in the Chainsaw Man. And obviously Denji's listening because he doesn't want his daughter to die, his sister or daughter. I don't know how he sort of views her. I feel like they sort of have like a sister-brother sort of a type bond, but also like Denji is sort of just her dad at the end of the day. So yeah, it's just like Denji doesn't want to lose the people he has, and Yoshida is just trying to make Denji to like stop being Chainsaw Man. Like that's all Yoshida wants, and I would love, and I cannot wait until we see like why. Like maybe we'll cut some time and see another chapter where Yoshida talks to his higher ups, and he gets more like reasoning on like where they say, well, we made him be a normal person because of this, but now let's have him do this. Like maybe it's something like that, because I feel like in the future they might need Chainsaw Man's help, like Denji's help, because he's pretty strong. Like, I mean, first and foremost, he is like one of the most popular devil hunters like in Japan. Like he's very popular, but not right now because all this controversy and stuff around the Chainsaw Man. And how many of you guys would have guessed after Chainsaw Man Part 1, we go into this sort of like slice of life political drama type thing with a little bit of shonen action thrown in. Like, who would have guessed that this story would go from balls to the wall action and like crazy story plots and insane pacing to something like this? Super slow, really meditated, it feels like, and also like really intentional in every single panel. Like, it doesn't feel like Fujimoto's throwing away any of these panels like with anything that he doesn't need to show. Besides the gags, but the gags are definitely needed. But either way, off that tangent, Yoshida's like, you want to skip school with me? That's just what normal high schoolers do. And again, he keeps talking about like normal high schoolers or normal people. Like, he's just doing this to keep Denji in his place. He's like, you got to be normal. This is what normal people do. Blah, blah, blah. And they, of course, they don't really know what normal is because they're not. But either way, they go to a movie theater. And obviously, Fujimoto, he loves giving us a movie theater for like a date or like a get together or something like that, because I mean, at the end of the day, this is going to be a date. Not with Denji and Yoshida, but it basically is sort of a date. And they're in this theater and there's this devil carcass in front of the screen, just on the ground. They can still see the screen, but the devil is just like lying there bloody. And it's sort of like octopus-like. And I would guess it's either like an octopus or squid devil. But either way, Yoshida's talking about, even though we're skipping class and it should be really fun, this really isn't. And Denji's like, no talking during the movie. But Yoshida's like, nobody's even here. Like, everybody evacuated. Like, who even cares? Also, if you guys like the content so far, want new Chainsaw Man chapter reviews or videos each week, just please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Back to the video. I just love how Denji's like, no talking in the movie, man. I don't want to hear it. But Yoshida he's going to ramble. And he's talking about how 32 minutes ago, a devil appeared in here. The theater's devil hunters killed him. All that's left they got to do is remove the body because they're just sitting there. But they're like, even without Chainsaw Man, stuff still gets resolved. You aren't the protagonist of this movie, bro. And I love that because he is the protagonist, but maybe this is a way of Fujimoto telling us he's not our protagonist anymore. That could be an interesting theory, because what if, at the end of the day, Denji doesn't turn back into the Chainsaw Man? Like, what if he just continues to be regular Denji and Asa's the one that, does all the stuff, which would be like mind-blowing, because we love Denji. I mean, everybody loves Denji. I mean, not everybody, but most people really like Denji, and it would be sort of just bad to throw him away even after he sort of completed his story arc. But it's still like far from done, because he still has this like the emptiness. It feels like this loneliness where he needs to meet an actual normal person, like not somebody from Fujimoto's mind, because he gives Denji some really fucked up people, like girls, boy, like everybody around Denji is like fucked up, like mentally. It's like they're all messed up, but Denji just needs a normal person, I think, and maybe they can lead him to like live a happy life, like just liking the simple things and not, needing to be this huge devil hunter and stuff like that, which that would be an interesting way to see this end, because maybe maybe Fujimoto just wraps up Denji's entire like character arc in the middle of this part, and then we continue with Asa. It's really interesting. I would like to see where this goes, because this like duotagonist or duotagonist, I can't say the word, but either way, these two protagonists, it's really interesting the way the story flips around them and like intertwines with them, because right now it's like we're on Denji's side, we were with Asa before this, and then they did mix in between where they saw each other, and it's lots of just interesting stuff going on. Like, I can never predict anything that's going to happen in Chainsaw Man, and I don't know many people who can, because Fujimoto just throws curveballs all the time, and that's like my favorite way of writing. Like, for any author, any mangaka, I want to see them throw shit at me that I would not expect. Like in One Piece, in Chainsaw Man, in JJK, like all three of those, I can really never predict what's going to come next. And it's always just a joy to see my expectations getting subverted, because, you know, you think about something like maybe this will happen, and then what actually happens is even better than anything you could have thought of. Like, that's usually how Chainsaw Man goes. Either way, Yoshida, he's like, oh, one of my classmates are here. Like, good thing she's here before the corpse cleaner. But Yoshida's like, I set this date up for you guys, you know? So knock her socks off. See ya, Denji. But Denji, he's like, hey, is this what it's like to be normal, man? Like, I'm not really sure. And Yoshida's like, yeah, it is. And then we just leave Denji alone with this girl. And she comes and she sits down, and Denji, he's like, I'm sorry, but I'm like pretty fucking depressed right now. Like, I'm really an amazing person. Like, believe me, I'm a great dude, but, you know, I wouldn't be that charming today. I'm a little down in the dumps. He's like, you know, there's all this stuff I can't do and all this stuff that I have to think about. It's like, I just want to be alone, man. And everybody's felt like that. Denji's really sad. You can see this is definitely like impacting him, because in any other circumstance, he'd be trying to get in this girl's pants. And like, you already know that that's just what he would be doing. Like, he's a really horny dude for like no fucking reason. I mean, there is a reason, but he's just not doing any of that because he's really sad and he doesn't really want to do all this stuff. But when he's in the middle of this whole like monologue, he's like, so, what? And we cut to the next page, and he's talking about, she's touching my wiener. And then we see this girl's face, and originally from like the back of the head, like the hairstyle, I thought it was like that fake Kobeni girl or wherever it was from the Devil Hunters Club. But then we see this girl's face, and she's so creepy, bro. Like, this girl was definitely either hired by Yoshida or works with Yoshida in some sense. Like, she's definitely not a normal high schooler, like just like Yoshida. Like, she gives this like super creepy like grin, and her eyes are just like, I don't know, everything about her is sort of just unsettling. And this is definitely not the girl I want Denji to go for. You know, she looks a little bit crazy, but she's touching his thing. But Denji's freaking out about this because, you know, this isn't something that has ever happened to him. Like, he's like, what? Huh? And then in his head again, he says, she's touching my wiener. And he's going crazy. Like, this dude, he might start convulsing. Like, he might start convulsing. He might just jizz his pants or something. But we end the chapter off with this girl's hand on Denji's penis. And he's just like, what? Because this is like so unfathomable for him. Like, he hasn't even known this girl for like 5 seconds. He starts telling her like, I just really don't really want to be right here. I don't want to do this stuff. I want to be alone. And this girl just reaches over and just grabs his meat. Like, what? But that's the end of the chapter. We have no break next week. So, you know, Fujimoto is on a run for us. I think we didn't have a break last week. We don't have a break this week. So if we go 4 chapters in a row, that'll be a big W. Because maybe this is just like a transitional period. I'm pretty sure this isn't really a setup chapter in my eyes. There's not really that much exposition and stuff like given to us, like set up for us. Besides, like, I mean, this girl and Yoshida saying, be a normal human or be a normal person. Because, I mean, that stuff's already been said before. But this girl, it's very interesting and it is very weird. Because you don't do that normally. And she definitely isn't normal, like I was saying. She has to be hired by Yoshida or working with Yoshida, because like no girl in her right mind would do that. Unless, I just had an idea, unless she's a part of the Chainsaw Man cult somehow. And Yoshida was like, you know, this is the real Chainsaw Man. Something like that, maybe. But Yoshida doesn't want Denji to be Chainsaw Man, so like maybe if she brings it up, Denji would be like, "Oh yeah, I'm the Chainsaw Man," and like Yoshida wouldn't really want that. But maybe it just might be a thing where this girl just works with Yoshida. She works like with it as a devil hunter. She looks really fucking creepy, and she looks like she's up to something no good, man. I mean, Denji, he might fall for her. He might fall for her, and that's not what I want to see, because every single toxic girl that gets thrown at Denji, he just like falls in love with. Like he definitely didn't like Asa just because she's just different. I mean, he easily could have. He thought she was cute, but he just like thought she was annoying. And he definitely could have developed feelings for her in like before like she got her mind erased, but she was just fucking annoying to Denji. So most of these people that are actually like toxic and like terrible, like Makima, Reze, he just wants to fuck them. Like, I'm happy for my boy, and I'm happy this isn't a grown ass woman like Himeno. Like, that was very sus when I first read that. Like, either way, we get to see this stuff, and I'm just gonna guess next chapter is probably gonna be more setup for something else. Like, we'll get the payoff, the direct payoff of this will probably start the next chapter directly with "she's touching my wiener," and then we'll see from there on. But I really hope, I hope to God, man, I'm praying that Denji does not get hooked on this girl, because she seems very toxic, and maybe Yoshida purchased her, or maybe he works with her. I'm not gonna say purchased her like in that way, but like he bought her assistance as in like she's a devil hunter, and that Yoshida wants her to control Denji. So that could be another interesting way where like, he's gonna fall for this girl again. It's almost inevitable at this point, because she's doing what Denji always wants girls to do. Like, he just wants to touch boobs and probably get laid. That's pretty much all Denji wants to do. And he's probably going to get it. I really hope we don't have a sex scene in Chainsaw Man, because I won't be ready for that, man. But either way, I think this is a really good chapter. It was really funny. But let me know what you guys think is going to happen next, because I got a lot of theories about what's going to happen next, what's going to go down, and it's really interesting. Like, that's all I got to say about Chainsaw Man whenever I read it. It's so interesting. It's like thought-provoking. It makes me think about what's going to happen next, how stuff's going to intertwine. And even though it's a short chapter, I feel like it was a full chapter, because it was only 14 pages or 15 pages. And I mean, that's really all we need. There was no double pages. There was nothing like that. It was like, I think that Fujimoto probably just going to go crazy next chapter with something. Maybe we get 21 full pages, maybe some double page spreads, some fights and all that stuff. And thank you guys if you made it this far. I really appreciate it. And if you would, please like, subscribe. I'd really appreciate that too. If you liked the chapter review and you liked the content, it would just be nice for me, and it would be nice for you, because you'd get new chapter reviews each week. But thank you guys. I really appreciate it. And peace.